so general to anybody who denies an accountability. And we see that this surah is very powerful, and it gives characteristics of someone who acts in a bad way due to him not believing in accountability. Because if you were to believe in accountability, you would act in a reformed manner, and you wouldn't be bad to your neighbors, and you wouldn't be cheap, and you wouldn't be bad to the orphans, etc. But the one who does not believe in accountability, he can care less how he acts, because he doesn't believe in something called reward. He doesn't believe that he'll be rewarded for the good he does, so there's no motivation to do good, and he doesn't believe he'll be punished for anything bad he does. And this is a scary way to live, by the way. This is a catastrophic way to live. Someone who lives without the understanding of accountability is reckless. It's a reckless lifestyle. That's why Islam comes and it tells us about Yawm al-Qiyamah and Yawm al-Hisab and Yawm al-Din, the day of great accountability, the day that will be asked and will be judged, the day of judgment. That's why we call it Yawm al-Din, is the day of judgment, because we will be judged for the good we did and we'll be judged for the bad we did. But this mizan, this understanding that the mu'min has of Yawm al-Qiyamah, of good and bad, of punishment and reward, is a gift from Allah, because it motivates and it pushes you to do good. It motivates you to look after the less fortunate, even if no one sees, because you know Allah is watching. And it motivates you to stay away from haram. Allah, He then says, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ. Allah goes to characterize the person who doesn't believe in Yawm al-Din. He says, that is the one who repulses the orphan, or that is the one who treats the orphan badly. And the orphan, we could translate it to the low class of society. And of course, Allah is speaking specifically about the yatim here, because the yatim is the one that has no one to look after. The orphan is the one that has no one to look after, so that person needs someone to look after. But the person that doesn't believe in accountability, he can care less about an orphan. He only cares about himself. And of course, the virtue of looking after an orphan in Islam is from the greatest of all virtues. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Ana wa kafil al-yatimi fil jannati kahataini." He said, "Ana wa kafil al-yatimi fil jannati kahataini." And he did this. The Prophet, he said, me and the one who takes care of an orphan or looks after an orphan, we're in paradise kahatain, like this. Yani, if you want to be close to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you do something called looking after or taking care of an orphan. So kafalat al-yatim, or looking after an orphan, is very virtuous. Also, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man damma yatiman min al-muslimina hatta yastaghni faqad wajabat lahu al-jannah." Whoever takes care of an orphan from the Muslims up until he becomes independent, or up until he's able to, be independent for himself or take care of himself, wajabat lahu al-jannah. Jannah has been made obligatory on him. Jannah has been made, paradise has become a guarantee for him. And they say, what does it mean, yad'u al-yatim? They say, ay yadfa'uhu bi'unfin wa shidda. They mean he pushes away. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ. What does it mean? They say it's the one who pushes the orphan away, and he's rough with him, and he's harsh with him, and he doesn't care for him. وَلَا يَرْحَمُهُ لِقَسَاوَةِ قَلْبِهِ. He has no mercy toward him due to the hardness of his heart. وَلِأَنَّهُ لَا يَرْجُو ثَوَابًا وَلَا يَخْشَى عَقَابًا. And we said this goes back to the point of him not fearing a punishment and not believing in reward. So why should I look after an orphan? Then Allah, He says, وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Going to characterize this individual more. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And He does not encourage the feeding of the poor. Allah doesn't say, and He does not feed the poor. He doesn't say, وَلَا يُطْعِمُ الْمِسْكِينِ. He says, وَلَا يَحُضُّ. This is an interesting ayah. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. He does not encourage the feeding of the poor. Cheapness has levels. It has levels. Wallahi, it's a sickness. Some people, they don't like to help themselves, that's fine. You could go to Jahannam on your own. Like, you don't like to help yourself, this is a sickness in your own, you're cheap in yourself. But then there's people, they have a disease in the heart that they don't want good for the world. They know someone is sick and they know someone's going to help him, and they said, no, why are you going to waste your money there? Save your money. Go purchase Bitcoin. Go invest in stocks. Wallahi, it's strange, man. You see someone excited to donate to the masjid or donate to a cause, Gaza or Sudan or whatever, and then you have someone chirping, oh, why would you send your money there, this, that, and he's talking someone out of a good deed. This is a disease. Wallahi, this is the scariest thing. To think of this is scary. Because the virtue for helping yourself, if you help someone yourself, the virtue for you helping is amazing. Then there's another virtue for the one who doesn't help his own self, but he encourages helping. In Islam, we learn this. the one who encourages help, or he's like a middleman. He's the middleman, the one who takes the money. He doesn't give any money. Brother Zayd gives me money. He says, Shaykh Ismail, I want you to give this to your friend in Sudan. I said, no problem. I didn't pay anything. I'm not paying nothing for my own money, but I take Zayd's money. من طيب نفس من عندي. بطيب نفس من عندي. I take it with happiness in my heart. I'm happy. I'm al-khazin al-amin. The Prophet ﷺ said, the one who does this, and he's happy and he's ameen, and he does it بطيب نفس, he gets the same reward as Zayd. ولا ينقص من أجورهم شيئا. And there's no reward is minused, deplenished. Yani, I don't pay a penny, but I take the money with happiness because I know the miskin needs help and I love to help and I want to help and I want good to go around the world. Wallahi, I get the reward of Zayd. ولا ينقص من أجري شيئا. And nothing is deplenished from my reward. I get the full reward that Zayd gave and I didn't even pay a penny. On the other hand, we have the other flip side, a diseased individual, the aristocrats of Quraysh, because this ayahs they're calling out, they differ on who it's calling out. Some say Walid ibn Mughira, some say it's the guy from yesterday that cursed the Prophet and said that he was Abtar. What was his name again? Al-As ibn Wa'il al-Sahmi. Al-As ibn Wa'il al-Sahmi, they say this is... Anyway, these guys are rich people, by the way. They take taxes. They, like immigration tax when people enter Mecca. These guys ran Mecca. They take money and they invest money and they buy and they have money. But they're so disgusting and diseased that they don't like to help and they don't want others to help. Because they're so scared of all the money going somewhere. Subhanallah. وَلَا يُحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And they do not encourage the feeding of the orphan. Like we said, this is another level of badness. Then Allah, He says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. So woe, or so a wail to those who pray. Woe or a wail. Wail can mean two things. The word wail in Arabic could be, like woe to you, like bad to you, horrible to you. Or it could literally refer to a place in Jahannam. That's called a wail. It's a valley in Jahannam. Both are the same thing. It's a horrible woe to those who pray. And this is the only time in the Quran where Allah speaks bad about those who pray, because the next ayah is very important. That's why in the Quran, where you stop in the Quran makes a big deal. That's why there's certain areas in the Quran, wuquf is haram. You can't stop. And there's certain areas where you have to stop. There's certain areas in the Quran where when you're reciting, you have to stop, you have to have a pause, and then you continue. And there's certain areas where you can't pause, you have to continue, or else the ma'na is going to be a catastrophe. Because if someone stops here for wailun lil musallin, Allahu Akbar, this is a musibah. But we have to understand what's going on in the next ayah. Who is that? Which kind of person that prays? Like I said, there's areas in the Quran where you have to stop due to the meaning for لِيَسْتَقِيمِ الْمَعْنَى. And certain places where you have to continue. This is one of the areas where you have to continue. There's a little la on the top. Have to continue, a little la. A little lam and alif, and then have to stop is a little meme. And then we have something called, you could stop or you can continue, and it's the same. You could stop or you can continue, and it's the same, and that's a jim. And then there's one that stopping is better than continuing, and it's a qili. And then there's one continuing is better, and that's silly. Anyway, Allah then says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Woe to who? Those who are neglectful of their prayers, or those who are heedless to their prayers, or those who are indifferent to their salah, those who are heedless of their salah. Yani, the hypocrites who are unconcerned if they miss prayers when no one sees them. They say that when Allah says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, those who are careless with their salah, meaning salah is not a priority in their lives, meaning that this is a hypocrisy, this is a sign of hypocrisy. He prays when people watches him. He can care less if he prays if no one else watches him. He barely prays at the last part of the time. He's not keen to pray. When he prays, his ruku' is not mazboot. When he prays, his sujood is not mazboot. They say this is nifaq. This is the issue. So Ad-Dahhak, he narrates from Abdullah ibn Abbas. He said that it is the one who, when he prays, he does not expect reward for it. And if he abandons it, he does not fear punishment for it. Meaning he's praying fakely. Because the one who prays, he prays for reward. And he's scared to miss salah for adhab. But he said, no, this is referring to the one who prays. He doesn't believe in reward for salah or punishment if he leaves it. He also said, those who delay it from its proper timing. Al-Mughira narrated from Ibrahim, who said, they are heedless by wasting time, yani praying at the end of the timing. And Abu al-Aliya said, they do not perform it in its proper manner or in its proper timing, nor do they complete its ruku' or sujood. Then Allah, He says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, further describing this catastrophic individual. First, the first thing was he's bad to an orphan. He repulses the orphan. He treats the orphan harshly. The second thing is he does not encourage any good. He's a selfish individual. He's vile. The third thing is, he prays and he shows off when he prays, and he prays with hypocrisy. He doesn't pray sincerely. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Doesn't pray sincerely. That means he's a show-off. That means he's a mura'i. Allah says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Those who show off. Allah, He says in the Quran in Surat An-Nisa, describing this exact person, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يَخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Allah, He describes what a hypocrite is in Surah An-Nisa. He says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم. The hypocrites, they think that they fool Allah. يُخَادِعُونَ Allah means they are constantly in a state of thinking they're fooling Allah. Why do they think they're fooling Allah? Because they get up and pray in the apparent scene, but they don't mean it. وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم. But Allah is 10 steps ahead of them, and He's fooling them before they can even think of fooling Him. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى. And if they get up for salah, if they get up for prayer, they get up lazily, because they don't want to worship Allah. They get up because they're forced. When you get up, when your dad tells you to get up, you get up, you're forced. يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They show off to people. يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ. They show off to people. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And they don't remember Allah except for a little. The remembrance of Allah in their lives is seldom or unapparent. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ فِي جَهَنَّمَ لَوَادِيًا تستعيذ جهنم من ذلك الوادي في كل يوم 400 مرة أعيد ذلك الوادي للمرائين من أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم لحامل الكتاب الله والمتصدق في غير ذات الله والحاج إلى بيت الله وللخارج في سبيل الله. This is a hadith that's narrated saying that there's a special place in Jahannam that Jahannam itself seeks for, protection from. Jahannam itself is scared of this place, and it's prepared for those who are show-offs from the Ummah of Muhammad, the hypocrites and the show-offs, those who fought not for the sake of Allah, those who made Hajj not for the sake of Allah, those who gave sadaqah not liwajhillah, and those who read the Quran and they held the Quran insincerely. Meaning insincerity is very scary. We always mention this point. Then I took a little note from Imam al-Qurtubi, Imam al-Mufassirin. He says, حقيقة الرياء. What is the actuality of riya? This concept of riya, which we call showing off lightly, he says it comes down to something. The crux of riya is what? حقيقة الرياء طلب ما في الدنيا بالعبادة. It's to seek dunya through your worship. To seek a worldly gain from worship. Yani to seek clout, to seek friends, to seek a job, to show off to a girl's dad. Because you want to marry her, his daughter, you got to show off to the dad and pray like this. You have someone, he comes to Fajr every day because he wants this girl. And his dad comes, he prays next to his dad. Wallah, he's been 23 years, we haven't seen the brother. Wallah, he got married 23 years ago, we haven't seen the brother, but we miss him. Oh man, he got what he wanted, right? فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى الدُّنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا أَوْ امْرَأَةٍ يَنْكِحُهَا فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى مَا هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِ. The Prophet says, when someone does something with an insincere intention or with an alternative motive, he'll get it, don't worry. But you're not going to get the Allah and His Messenger. So حقيقة الرياء is to seek with ibadah, dunya through ibadah. Dunya, worldly gain through worship. And that's not the point of worship. Worship is for Allah and for the hereafter. وَأَصْلُهُ طَلَبَ الْمَنْزِلَةِ فِي قُلُوبِ النَّاسِ. And the origin of it is to want a status in the hearts of people due to you being pious or whatever. May Allah protect us. Last ayah, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ. And the last ayah is وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ. This is the fifth characteristic that Allah mentions in this evil individual, in this vile individual, and it's the ayah where the surah is named after. As we said multiple times, the surah is named after the word that stands out. What is ma'un? وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ. And they refuse to give, even the simplest aid, even the simplest amount of help. They say simplest aid could be helping your neighbor. It could be a help without money. But this ayah, they say, is referring to, he even refuses to help out with things that are known in society to be so normal. Like anyone helps out, like with salt or water or a bucket. You know, like if he's my neighbor, I give him a bucket. Who doesn't want to help out with a bucket? A bucket is stained with paint anyway. Like we give the bucket, it has no value to it. Or they say, or a fats like an axe, or they say like a vessel, something that you cook with, or a qidr, or a cauldron, or a pot. وَنَحْوِ ذَلِكَ أي يمنعون إعطاء الشيء الذي لا يضر إعطاءه. They deny giving the thing that you don't lose anything from giving. Like even if you never get it back, it doesn't matter. It's a bucket. And this just goes to show the immense cheapness in the heart, and the immense selfishness in the heart. And the heart that is so cheap and so selfish can't be a heart that has iman in it. The brother that has iman, he wants to help. You have special people that Allah loves, man. I have people on my contact list. If something happens to me, I'm going to call him because I know no matter what time it is, he's going to come and help me. This person is not going to have a high status in the eyes of Allah. You have someone you need help, you call him, he never answers because he knows you need help. He will not answer. He'll answer you 3 days later. How are you, Shaykh? How is everything? Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Then you get used to the types of people in the world, and then you know not to ask certain people, and you know to ask certain people. But the person that you ask, you're asking because you're comfortable with the ask. This is a high virtue. This person in the sight of Allah, Jannah VIP, first class Jannah. Because this person has a proper understanding. The number one thing that's heavy on the scale on Yawm al-Qiyamah is husn al-khuluq. So this surah came to teach us that good character is an integral of the religion, and being generous is an integral of iman and faith. Being generous and giving is an integral of iman and faith. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَعُونَ, and they refuse to help even with small amounts of aid due to their cheapness. May Allah keep us. May Allah. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasali wal-bukhli wal-jubni wal-hammi wal-hazni wa ghalabat ad-dayni wa qahr al-rijali. This dua that we make, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ made this dua at Fajr. This was his daily Fajr dua, one of his daily 7 Fajr du'ats. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasli. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from ajiz, from not being able to do something, from being unable, wal-kasali, and being lazy, yani being lazy for salah. Being lazy for salah, being lazy in general is a bad thing. The mu'min is active. Wal-bukhli wal-jubni. And Allah, the Prophet Muhammad seeks refuge in Allah every day min al-bukhl. And with al-jubn together. Jubn, not jubna, not cheese. Jubn is being a coward. Al-bukhl wal-jubn. Al-bukhl means to be cheap and to be a coward. They say, why does the Prophet always pair al-bukhl wal-jubni ma'bad? Because there are 2 characteristics that come out from the same area of the heart. The coward is cheap. The courageous person is not cheap. The person, what's the opposite of coward? The brave man, the courageous person is not cheap. The person who has true iman, he can't be cheap. Because he knows his reward is with Allah. And he knows when he gives, he gets back. But you can only understand this if you taste it. وَالْبُخْلِ وَالْجُبْنِ وَالْهَمِّ وَالْحَزْنِ. And I seek refuge in you, O Allah, from al-ham, from being hurt or down. And hazan. And hazan is to be sad or sorrow. We all need to make this dua. Always may Allah make us of those who are very, very, very generous. Generous with our time and our money and our everything. We ask Allah to never deprive us of good pious actions and good friends, and we ask Allah to make us people of the Quran and make the Quran the spring of our hearts. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Jum'ah Mubarak. We see you all in 3 more hours.